My beloved child, what you are about to hear is not another message, not another teaching, not another passing word. It is a final bell, a holy alarm, and it concerns your very soul. Even now, shadows dressed in light are circling you, whispering what sounds like truth but carries no life. If you turn away, you may miss the only warning that will guard you from destruction. Stay, do not look away, for every second of what follows may be the difference between discernment and deception, between life and ruin. I am speaking now. Listen as if eternity depends on it, because it does. You are being tested not by affliction, but by something that resembles a blessing, my child. Some will approach with gentle speech and eyes that seem to listen, but their hearts are not turned toward me. They will not shatter your home with violence. They will unravel it with counterfeit compassion and advice that sounds wise but lacks the scent of holiness. They do not lie by denying the truth. They dilute it. They confuse you with fragments that echo what I once said. You must discern, for not all sweetness comes from honey. Some comes from poison wrapped in sugar. These individuals did not appear together by coincidence. They were drawn by a common purpose to divert you from my path. If you naively receive them, you will trade your peace for the illusion of being understood. I do not need your strength to discern. I need your vigilance. Remember this: what confuses you does not come from me, for I am a God of order. You do not need to drive them out with your own hand. I will do that, but only if you remain in obedience. Do not compromise out of fear of being misunderstood. Not everyone who asks deserves an answer. Not everyone who sympathizes is sincere. You only need to keep your heart close to me and listen when I speak. Be wiser than you have ever been, for this is a season that does not permit innocence. This is the time for you to learn how to guard your pearls and not cast them before souls who do not cherish them. I am here, and if you remain in me, no one can deceive you. For I am the supreme discerner, my beloved. The first of them will not arrive with darkness or threats. He will come with gentleness and urgent concern. He sees your weariness and your inner turmoil and will say things that seem to be the answers you have longed for. You are seeking support, and he will appear at the moment your heart grows faint. You will think I have sent him, but child, not every helper comes from me, and not every hand is meant to be held. He will offer a solution, a shortcut, an easier path, a practical method that bypasses waiting, trusting, and remaining faithful. His words will be as soft as the wind, as if he understands your burden intimately. But my dear, be alert. Comfort that lacks holiness is a snare. He does not teach you to stand firm in me. He invites you to step off the solid rock and onto the sinking sand of compromise. That is not help. It is the dismantling of the foundation you are building in me. When you feel persuaded too quickly, when peace comes without the confirmation of the Spirit, when solutions appear perfect but draw your heart away from me, stop. You do not need an easier path. You need my presence on the true one. I know the weight you carry, but I do not entrust relief to a stranger. If that peace does not deepen our intimacy, it is not deliverance, it is theft. You must understand this, my child. A false helper does not come to build, but to fill the void within you with illusion. He does not give life. He soothes your pain temporarily, only to abandon you in another depth of emptiness. Learn to distinguish between the one who draws you closer to me and the one who keeps you far from me, while keeping you emotionally satisfied. Not every door that opens at the right time is a door I have set before you. Ask me before stepping into anything. My beloved, there's another one who will come, not hurried, not loud. He will enter your life with a suspicious silence, as if he has long waited for this moment. He does not use arguments, but listens. He will not ask much, yet he will make you feel as though he sees into your very soul. You will believe this is a rare connection, but in truth, it is a gateway through wounds you have never truly let me heal. And it is there that he will take root. He will echo your former hopes and your once held beliefs, but they are not from me. He will rekindle the feeling of being understood, but it is born not from love but from strategy. He knows how to lead you back to painful memories and neglected wounds. From there, he will insert his words into places where only my presence should reside. He will not assault you. He will make you feel dependent on his understanding. Over time, you will stop seeking me in silence and begin to seek his gaze, his voice, his presence. Child, I do not condemn those who listen to you, but I warn against those who use it to possess your heart. True healing does not bind, it frees. If someone makes you feel like you will fall apart without them, that is not healing, that is control. You once asked me to deliver you from loneliness, but this one is not the answer. He is the test to see if you will choose intimacy with me or settle for an emotional replica lacking true life, my precious one. The third does not arrive as hastily as the other two, but he is the most dangerous. He brings no urgency and speaks no excess. He enters like a shining star, captivating and seemingly flawless. You will feel as if he is anointed, as if something sacred surrounds him. But child, not all that glitters comes from heaven. He is darkness cloaked in light, a mimic of my presence but devoid of me. What makes him so deceptive is that he speaks like me, quotes me, and behaves like the righteous. He will pray, mention my name, and speak of godliness, all to win your trust. You will ask yourself, how could this be wrong? He speaks just like what I've been taught. But be careful. He doesn't speak lies. He uses truth out of season. He twists what is true, like the serpent in Eden. A truth spoken from the wrong source for the wrong purpose is still an arrow of the enemy. This one does not wound you through resistance, but through admiration. He will make you feel seen and chosen for something greater. But child, that greater may not be my kingdom. It may be his own altar. He does not draw you to me. He draws you to himself, to plans that sound divine but lack my breath. I am not in them. Even if my name is mentioned, I do not dwell where my name is used only to establish authority. He comes when you begin to mature in me, when you are ready for the next season. That is why he did not arrive earlier. He had no interest in you while you were weak. He waited until you became stronger, sharper, and more influential, so that a small deviation from me now would carry far greater consequences. Child, this is no game. This is a sacred hour. If you do not keep your heart in obedience, that counterfeit light will cause you to forget what the true light looks like. I love you and will not let you walk in darkness without instruction. I allow you to see the false light so that you may learn to see me more clearly. Do not be afraid, but do not place confidence in yourself. I will keep you if you cling to me. Do not let his light make you loosen your grip on mine. The lamp of the wicked will be snuffed out, but my light will guide your path forever. If you do not take your eyes off me, my beloved child, I know you long to hear words of encouragement, words that soothe your soul after many wearisome battles. But not every soft word comes from the light. Those who carry darkness no longer arrive with horns and fire as you imagine. They come with smiles, with understanding eyes, with a language crafted to lull your heart into compromise. The enemy has learned to cloak claws and gentleness, and the greatest danger is this: they speak rightly, but they do not come in my name. You must remember what makes a word holy is not its pleasantness, but its origin. Some words sound like me, but do not come from me. Some will quote my words, pray in my name, and appear to walk heavenward with you, but in truth, they construct a mannequin clothed in faith to manipulate. The enemy never comes without opposition. He comes wearing the form of a companion. You must pause and ask me, Father, did this word truly come from you? I have not taught you to listen only with your ears, but with the Spirit within. The voice that comes from me brings life, not just momentary comfort. But the words from darkness bring false peace that steers you off the path of obedience. They will praise you when you drift from truth, affirm you when you wander from me, and convince you that you are okay when peace has already left your soul. My voice may wound for a moment, but it heals. The voice of the enemy soothes only to poison. Stay awake, my child. Let me teach you how to discern between sweet words and words of life. Not all empathy comes from compassion. Not everyone who makes you feel safe is safeguarding your soul. Those raised up to distract you will say things that sound like me, but their spirits are not mine. What sets them apart is not the voice, it is the heart, and their heart is not in my hands. Therefore, ask me about every word you hear. Do not follow the voice, follow my presence. My beloved child, in the midst of everything you are facing, the strange voices, the familiar faces now lost in confusion, the relationships that stir your heart, what I ask you to hold on to is not your competence nor persuasive reasoning, but obedience. Obedience is not weakness. Obedience is the hidden power within surrender. When you choose to obey me, I intervene not by your hand, but by mine. You do not need to argue. You do not need to expose anyone. I will disrupt their plans if you remain under my covering. There are things you do not need to know right away, nor understand immediately. The enemy wants to rob your peace by dragging you into battles that are not yours. But my child, be still in the Spirit, not with passivity, but with alertness. Silence does not mean resignation. Silence means you choose not to react in the flesh, but to respond in faith. I do not need you to speak up to defend yourself. I am your defender. The only thing I ask is this: remain obedient. Even when you cannot see what lies ahead, obedience is the safest place in the midst of this invisible battle. When you are in me, you are within a realm no enemy can penetrate. But when you step outside that boundary, when you let emotions lead the way, when you let others define right and wrong, you may find yourself on a battlefield I never sent you to. I do not abandon you, but you will feel as though I am silent because you have strayed from where I stand. That is why I plead with you. Obedience is not limitation, it is protection. Do not let your plans or talents replace obedience. Plans can be disrupted, talents can be misled. But obedience, if it springs from faith in me, will open doors beyond your imagination. You do not need a strategy to confront those three. You only need to live each day and step with me, and I myself will expose what must be revealed. I will halt the deceiver's advance. I will silence the enemy through your obedience. My dear one, the greatest strength you have right now is not the ability to speak rightly, but the ability to remain silent at the right moment and walk in the right direction. Keep your heart rooted in me. Do not let enticing invitations draw you away from the narrow path. Walk steadily, walk slowly, but walk with me. That is a weapon no power can withstand. My precious child, what you are going through is not a sign that I am far away. It is evidence that I am preparing you for something greater. I did not allow those 3 people into your life to break you, but to sharpen your discernment. I am training your soul not through theory, but through experience. Not on mountaintops, but in the plains of trial, where obedience must become a daily choice. You are not alone in this refining. I am near, watching even the smallest response of your heart. You must know this: the enemy cannot exceed the limits I have set. Though they come with the intent to harm, I have the authority to turn their schemes into lessons and blessings. As Joseph once said, "You meant evil against me, but God meant it for good." Genesis 50:20. My child, that remains true for you today. Lies, deception, cunning snares. If you keep your heart aligned, I will turn it all into the foundation for a depth of spiritual maturity you have never known. I know sometimes you ask, why does God let me go through this? But child, you cannot learn to recognize true light without first seeing the false. You cannot know the peace that comes from me unless you have walked through the chaos of strange voices. I allow the shaking so that the counterfeit may fall and the genuine may be etched deeply into your heart. I do not place you in the wilderness to let you die of thirst, but so you may discover where the true source of water lies. My beloved, keep your eyes on me. That is the only way to remain untouchable by manipulation. Do not look to the left or to the right. Do not let the contradictions within others cause you to doubt the guidance of the Holy Spirit. When your gaze is fixed on me, you will see clearly not only who others truly are, but how I am transforming you day by day. Every choice of obedience today is a step toward maturity. Every time you say no to what is wrong and yes to me, you draw closer to the season I have prepared for you. Remember, you are not abandoned. You are being trained, and I, your trainer, am right beside you, never stepping away. Your tears are not wasted. They are watering the roots of an unshakable life of faith. All you need to do is keep your eyes on me, and the rest I will do. My dear child, I know your heart is wide open with dreams, with transitions, and with what seems to be perfect timing. You pray for me to open doors, and when one swings wide, you think it is the answer. But child, not every open door is meant to be walked through. The enemy, too, can open doors. He knows how to craft opportunities that look like miracles but are wrapped in deception and disguised as goodness. I do not want you to follow what is convenient. I want you to follow my presence. Some relationships will come, and you will feel a special connection. Some offers will sound like breakthrough, but not every hand extended should be taken. Some handshakes are for binding, not for lifting. Certain invitations will come when your heart is weary, and their allure will blur your spiritual senses. But I am not the God of haste. I am the God of perfect timing. If something makes you rush, fear missing out, or feel like you must decide on your own, stop. What comes from me will always be accompanied by peace. Even if it requires faith, you must understand this. Not every opportunity is an answer. Sometimes they are trials in disguise. And what will keep you from the trap is not intelligence, but the habit of inviting me into every conversation, every decision. When you ask me, I will answer. When you listen, I will speak. You do not need to figure it all out on your own. You only need enough trust to pause and ask, Father, is this from you? I am never burdened by your questions. I rejoice when you seek confirmation from me. Child, what I am teaching you is that wisdom does not come from having many options, but from choosing my will rightly. The doors may be beautiful, bright, and inviting, but if I am not inside, you will enter only to find emptiness. But if you walk into what I lead you to, no matter how small, how simple, you will find life, peace, and abundant blessing. Let me be your door. Let me be your answer. And I promise you will never walk the wrong path. Type yes if you are ready for the blessings that you are about to receive. And if you believe in Christianity, kindly show your support for our community by contributing super thanks from $50 to $100. My beloved child, come a little closer and be still. What I am about to speak is not meant for a restless mind, nor for ears that only listen out of habit. It is meant for your heart, the innermost part of you, the place where I have always dwelled quietly. No matter how loud the world around you may be, you are entering a significant season. What may seem trivial now are, in truth, invisible turning points that will shape your spiritual journey. Danger does not always knock with a roar, and temptation does not always arrive cloaked in darkness. Sometimes it comes wrapped in a familiar laugh, a gentle gaze, or a beautiful memory that seemed long asleep. And the one drawing near to you now is dressed in such a disguise. This person is neither a stranger nor truly familiar. They carry with them a sense of déjà vu, as though you once belonged to something they now represent. They do not enter your life with a loud summons, but with a quiet breath, like a melody recalling moments when you were weak, hurting, or still searching. And it is there, in that soft space, that you are most likely to open your heart, mistaking their arrival as the answer to a long-lost yearning. My child, they are not coming to seize you violently. They appear as a delayed answer, a comfort that seems timely. They may say words I once spoke to you. They might echo dreams I planted in your heart. They could make you believe at last that He has sent someone to walk with me. But no, my child, not now and not then. There is a subtle difference, and unless you listen through the Spirit, you will miss it. They are not here to draw you closer to me. They are here to shift your gaze until you lean on their presence instead, so that every step you take depends on them rather than looking toward me. That familiarity is not my confirmation. That sense of being understood is not the same as heavenly revelation. The enemy knows how to recreate the feeling of me without me being in it. I know your heart is tender. You have always longed for someone who sees through you without needing an explanation. I made you with a need to be understood, comforted, and connected. And it is precisely there that the enemy waits, for he knows that if he offers you even a sliver of what you once lost, he can lure your heart open without its guard. He does not need to lie. He only needs to speak truth with the wrong purpose. And you will not notice unless you ask me daily. Do not dismiss the restlessness in your spirit. Do not ignore the strange breeze in what appears to be a peaceful air. It is not doubt. It is my warning. You do not need a reason to say no to what is wrong. My absence in it is reason enough to step away. Do not let the past you once cherished blur the present I am safeguarding. Memories may be beautiful, but I am the living one, and I move in the now. If you keep looking back without looking up, you will miss my voice speaking into this very hour. You see, such people rarely come alone. They are links in a carefully planned chain. I have seen every step they are about to take, every conversation they will spark, every weakness they will target before you speak a word. I have heard their whispers before they approach. I have stood between you and them, but I cannot hold you back if you choose to step out of my arms. This is why I need you to stay within my presence, not because I doubt you, but because I know the heart of man and the enemy's tactics. Remember, you are only strong when you remain close to me, only discerning when you stand in the light I give. The moment you begin to lean on your own will, even with good intentions, you create a gap, and in that gap, confusion will take root. The enemy does not rejoice when you fail, he rejoices when you begin to rely on yourself more than on me. But my child, I will not let that linger if you return. I will lead you out of the fog, if only you whisper, Father, I need you. I am not far, I am simply waiting to be invited. My voice is not like the others. It does not barge in, it does not demand, it does not tug. My voice is still, but steadfast. It does not cause anxiety, it brings peace. It does not push you away, it draws you in. If a voice causes confusion, urgency, or weariness, it is not mine. I am the shepherd, not the driver. I am love, not manipulation. I am a father, not a controller. And when you let me go ahead of you, when you place every conversation, every connection in my hands, I will shield you even when you do not realize you need shielding. I will place in your heart a wisdom that surpasses your years, surpasses your emotions. I will give you the language of heaven in the middle of an earth in chaos. When you do not know what to say, I will put words in your mouth. When you do not know what to do, I will walk each step with you. Even when the path is covered in shadows, my presence does not depart from you, whether you feel it or not. Beloved, there are seasons where you do not need to fight, only to stand. There are relationships you do not need to dissect, only to surrender. Not every open arm is a genuine embrace. Not every encouragement comes from truth. Not every understanding is love. Ask me before you trust someone. Invite me before you open your heart. I am not the outsider. I am the one who longs to walk alongside. If you keep your eyes on me, no one can manipulate you. No scheme can trip you. No emotion can draw you out of the safe place in me. I am teaching you not to be suspicious of all, but to discern what comes from me and what only looks like it does. What is true will endure testing. What is false will vanish when light shines on it. And I, my child, am that light. You may feel unclear now, but do not be afraid. I do not need you to see it all. I just need you to hold my hand tightly. And when you walk with me, you will not fall into chaos. The enemy may plot, but I have a plan. The enemy may aim to bring you down, but I aim to lift you up. And my plan always prevails. You need only walk with me, one step at a time. My beloved child, I know your heart is trembling. I know the silent questions you keep hidden in your mind each night. I have heard your sighs when no one else could, and I have seen every tear that fell without a hand to wipe it. You are not alone in your confusion. You are not abandoned in your silent conversations with yourself. I have always been there, in the middle of your uncertainty, waiting for you to turn back and hear me speak. I do not say these things to stir fear. My warnings are not to retreat, but to help you see clearly. You are standing at a major threshold. Not everyone can recognize this, but I do. I see that within you lies something sacred, something even you have not fully understood. A spiritual weight, a calling that was seated long ago, now approaching its time of unveiling. You have asked me for guidance. You have pleaded for clarity about the unease within your soul. And now I answer, you are sensing correctly. Something is shifting, moving in the spiritual realm around you. Do not fear the motion. It is not instability. It is my movement. I am pulling you away from what you have known, from what once felt safe but no longer fits. Comfort is not the destination I have marked for you. You have lingered there too long. You have settled for stable instead of stepping into my will. But now, my child, is the time to move. And I am calling you out of your comfort into a place that will demand a new level of trust, a new kind of surrender. The road ahead will require more than sight, it will require discernment. The people you meet will not just be people, they will represent choices. Choices that look like opportunities, like divine connections, like long-awaited promises. But stay alert, for the enemy does not destroy by shouting. He tempts with near truths. What you are about to face will not appear wrong. It will look right, but with wrong timing, wrong intent, and the wrong spirit. You no longer have the luxury of playing with distractions. Every decision you make now carries eternal weight. This is not exaggeration. You carry something sacred. And because of that, you are being watched, not by me, but by the enemy. He sees the light I placed within you, even when you still doubt it. And that light draws not only those who love me, but also vessels who have lost their way. Those who no longer discern true from false, right from wrong. They are not villains in dark cloaks. They are souls used to living in the gray, easily swayed, easily misused. They carry confusion, and that is the danger. They do not come because they honor the light in you. They come because it unsettles them, and they want to control it or dim it. Often they do not even realize what they are doing. That is true deception, when they themselves are unaware of being tools of darkness. My child, do not judge what comes from me by outer kindness or a deep emotional connection. I do not only dwell in what feels good. I dwell in holiness, in peace beyond understanding, in confirmation from the Spirit. Those I send will not just make you feel better. They will draw you closer to me, strengthen you in truth, and build your soul. But those sent by the enemy, knowingly or not, will corrode your trust, confuse your wisdom with emotion, and steal your focus from me. I need your loyalty even when nothing is clear. I need you to ask me more than you ask others. Do not run to advice from those whose hearts are not steadfast in me. Do not let the applause of man drown out the whisper of the Spirit. You must know, sometimes my silence is not absence, but a test to see what you choose when I do not speak loud. My beloved child, now is the time for you to become sharper than ever before. Not to grow suspicious of others, but to discern the boundaries within each relationship. I do not want you to live in fear. I want you to walk in awakened faith. The choices before you are gateways into a new season, but not all of those gates are from heaven. Some are traps in disguise. Some are detours meant to prolong delay. And some are perfect imitations, off by just enough to steer you away from me forever. But take heart. I do not merely point out the traps. I walk with you through every turn. I will not leave you with a confusing map. I will hold your hand if you will place yours in mine. In the noise of all the options, I still speak gently, clearly, steadfastly. This is the way. Walk in it. So, my child, return to your heart. Do not rely solely on logic, nor merely follow your emotions. Come back to the place of stillness where you and I once met in the quiet of the night, where you wept not from pain, but from the overwhelming realization of how deeply I love you. In that place, you will remember what is true. In that place, I will give you heaven's perspective. Lift up your head, my child. Walk with steady steps. What you are facing is not the end. It is the beginning of a life deeper, stronger, and truer in me. If you remain in me, no person, no plan, no manipulation can hold you back. I have chosen you. I have called you. And I will lead you into the fullness of all I have ordained for you, if you keep your heart anchored in me and in me alone. My beloved, I am watching you not from a distance, but from near, closer than breath, closer than you can comprehend. I do not merely observe what is happening around you. I see every movement within, the inner wrestling, the lingering thoughts, the silent sighs you never speak aloud. I am not surprised by what you are facing, and I do not fall silent when you are overwhelmed. I am speaking, and now I need you to stop to listen. I am the wall of fire around you, the one who stands between you and what does not belong to life. I am not merely a guide, I am your refuge. I never warn you just to frighten you and leave you exposed. Every word of caution I give always carries a way out. Every light I shine into the darkness is so you may walk forward, not tremble in place. Run to me, not out of religious reflex, but like a child returning to their father's arms. No ceremony needed, no pretenses, just truth. I am waiting for you, not to rebuke, but to heal. Yet healing does not come through hurried prayers or skimming a few verses before rushing back into chaos. Healing begins when you truly sit with me, when you stop praying out of habit and begin pouring your heart out in tears, in silence, in the ache you no longer hide. I will come in that very moment, and I will speak not in thunder, but in a whisper only your soul can hear. I am always speaking, but what I long for is not another request. I long for your dwelling. I do not want to be a brief pause in your confusion. I want to be the place where you put down roots, the foundation on which you stand, the space where you learn to discern not by emotion, but by my spirit. What I am about to do through you requires not just listening, but discerning what is from me and what only looks like me. For the enemy has begun to use his most convincing imitations to distract those who are on the verge of stepping into their next season. I know you are tired, and I do not condemn that. You have fought, you have held on to faith, you have endured losses no one else knows. You have smiled while your heart was full of unanswered questions. I have seen every step you have taken, every moment you have sat down, every sleepless night. I have missed nothing. But my child, I do not want you to merely survive. I want you to overcome. And to overcome, you must remain alert. You must know, not every soothing voice comes from heaven. Those two people, you know them. Or at least you think you do. They offer what you feel you are lacking, an explanation, empathy, a temporary answer to lingering questions. They make you feel safe, yet slowly pull you away from your dependence on me. They make you feel like you are moving forward, but in truth, you are drifting off the path I have marked. That is not guidance. It is a counterfeit. And you will only see it clearly when your soul learns to discern the tenderness of the Spirit from the calculated sweetness of darkness. The enemy does not come with fire and sword. He comes with smiles, glances, and seemingly harmless words. He does not drag, you are invited. He does not force, he entices. He does not deny me, he uses my name to justify what's not come from me. He whispers, surely God wouldn't judge this. It seems good. But my child, not everything that seems good belongs to me. The enemy does not need to pull you off course instantly. He only needs you to veer slightly, just enough that months later, you no longer recognize how far you have gone. Step back. Close the doors you never invited me into. Let me search your heart, not to shame you, but to protect you from spiritual dead ends. I have placed something sacred in you, a light the enemy sees more clearly than you do. That is why the attacks do not come from obvious places. They come from where you least expect. Kind people, beautiful words, logical opportunities. But you are not to choose based on logic. You are to choose based on my presence. As you stand at this crossroads, you cannot continue as before. You cannot live halfway, part obedience, part convenience. I do not share my throne. I do not walk with decisions made without me. If you want clarity, you must stay with me longer than the voices of others. Do not follow those who say what you want to hear. Remain with the one who speaks what you need to hear. Even when it is not easy, you carry holiness within you, and what is holy cannot toy with distraction. I am calling you out of the ordinary. I did not make you to blend in. I made you to shine, to walk in authority, to reflect me. And that requires you to be different. Different in how you live, how you listen, how you choose, how you wait. Come back, my beloved, not just to a house, but to my heart. There all other voices will fall silent. There you will clearly see who is with you and who is pulling you from destiny. There you will learn how to stand firm without arguing, how to be quiet yet filled with power. For I am your strength, not people, not opportunities, not sweet words. Only me, my beloved child. Be still a little longer and listen to my words with an open heart. What I am about to speak is not to burden you, but to lift a veil that has clouded your sight. You have come near a turning point, and I know you have sensed the change approaching. What you feel is no accident. It is a stirring within your spirit, a bell tolling in your heart to awaken you, for your destiny is shifting. Not to frighten you, but to call you back into the secret place where it is just you and me. Stay with me in that secret place, for there I will give you something no force can take away: divine discernment. This is not a matter of emotions, nor is it wisdom learned from books. It is the ability to recognize what is of me and what is not, even when everything on the outside appears fine. When you are near me, I will steady your heart. I will turn your steps into purposeful strides, unshaken by surrounding noise or fleeting emotions. You will not need to run from anyone, for my presence is your fortress, and in me there is no room for fear. But you must be wise. You must be alert like a watchman in the night, able to distinguish the light from the enemy's fire. I do not call you to walk in suspicion, but neither do I desire for you to walk blindly. Be attentive. Listen closely. Let your heart learn to follow the signs I place before you. I will give you clues, small details that others overlook, but they will ring within you like bells if you listen by the Spirit. It might be a contradiction in their words, perhaps a look, an action, or a strange sense of disconnection when they are near. Do not dismiss it. Do not silence the warning of my Spirit. You will hear the mind try to reason it away. Maybe I'm just being sensitive. Perhaps it's a coincidence. Could this be a test from God? But I am not the God of ambiguity. I am the God of brilliant light, of clear speech, of unwavering confirmation. When I speak, my words carry certainty. And today I am speaking plainly to you, so you no longer have to live in the land of maybe. I did not create you to drift between conflicting voices or tangled thoughts. I fashioned you to carry light, to walk in discernment, and to move forward with unwavering steps. But this can only happen when your heart remains close to me. not close to your reasoning, not to your emotions, but to the presence that speaks truth within you. The unease you have tried to brush away, that is me knocking at your heart. It is a spiritual alert, a whisper telling you to pause, to look again, and to ask me. Type yes if you are ready for the blessings that you are about to receive. And if you believe in Christianity, kindly show your support for our community by contributing super thanks from $50 to $100. My child, true peace never walks hand in hand with hesitation. If something forces you to push past your own soul, if something merely sounds right but does not breathe life into your spirit, then you must retreat and return to the secret place. There I will speak with clarity. There no one can deceive your eyes. No voice can drown out mine. In stillness, you will hear truth. In worship, you will be realigned. In the shadow of uncertain decisions, my light will illuminate every step. Child, not everyone who mentions my name belongs to me. Not everyone who understands you has been sent by me. The enemy can disguise himself as a confidant, a familiar echo from an old dream. But if you look through the eyes of the Spirit, you will see that their polished surface holds no life within. They are not seeking your healing, but your agreement to stray. I did not call you into bonds formed from unhealed pain. I call you into relationships built upon my foundation: purity, honesty, and upward purpose. Do not let emotion draw you away from truth. Do not let cherished memories cloud my present presence. Do not let smooth words cause you to dismiss the inner warning. I do not speak so you can analyze. I speak so you will obey. And when you obey, you will be anchored. When you listen and follow, you will walk through every confusion untouched by the enemy's arrows. Obedience is the door that leads you out of traps and into a peace deeper than anything you have ever known. You do not need to know everything. You just need to know that I am the one leading you. Do not walk alone. Do not talk alone. Do not decide alone. Invite me in, ask me, exalt me above instinct, emotion, and expectation, and I promise you will not be put to shame. I will bring clarity to what you doubted. I will unravel the enemy's plans before they touch your heart. But you must walk in wisdom, not in sentiment. You are carrying something sacred. Do not let it be touched by hands I have not anointed. Do not let what I have planted in you be uprooted by empty promises. Do not let the longing to be understood become the trap that leads you away from me. Hold tightly to your pearls. Let me be the one who defines their worth. You do not need to convince anyone of your value. I have already declared it with my very life. Now return to the secret place. There I will speak to you what others cannot comprehend. There I will heal what the world can only graze. There you will receive a peace that is not dependent on who stays by your side or what happens around you. Because in that place, I myself am waiting, and my presence is where you will find every answer your heart longs for. My beloved child, let the noise fall silent for a moment. Sit down without planning, without fear, without urgency, just you and me. Just the pure, simple presence that once softened your heart at the beginning. Do you remember the nights you whispered my name, even when nothing ahead was clear? I remember that. I remember you not because the world deemed you important, but because you are mine. I remember your voice when it was not covered in worry. I remember your eyes before they were drawn to easier paths. I remember the sincerity, the purity in your prayers. When you did not know what to say, you just cried, and that was enough to draw me near. Child, return. Come back to the place where there are no conditions, no need for perfection, where one whisper of Father is enough for me to wrap you in my arms. The world has spoken much. People have spoken much. The whispers, the chances, the fleeting emotions, they all arrive at once, as if you must choose now, act now, move now. But my child, none of it is worth trading the peace I have given you. No relationship, no matter how understanding it seems, can heal the soul in the way that only I can. No open door, no matter how grand, can take you to where I have prepared unless I am there. I know you are weary. I see how the waiting has drained you, but I have not forgotten the promises I made to you. Not a single word has fallen to the ground in vain. Though you do not see it, every movement is silently guiding you toward the place I have appointed. My timing is never late, never early. It arrives when you are ready, not only to receive the outcome, but to carry the spiritual weight it brings. Child, those people, they are not the destination. They are detours, alluring perhaps, but still diversions if you choose them. If you follow a momentary persuasion, if you let emotion dictate your decision, you may unknowingly delay what you have pleaded with me to give. You will not lose what I have promised, but you will have to circle back, walk through unnecessary seasons simply because you took a shortcut instead of trusting. You once asked why everything is slow, why the promise has not arrived. And now I tell you part of the reason, because I am protecting you from the very choices you are not yet mature enough to recognize as wrong. You did not stop because they looked wrong. You stopped because my spirit within you stirred. That gentle unease was the signal, the whisper I sent to your heart. Do not silence it. Do not quench that warning flame just because someone made you feel okay for a moment. You long for me, I know that. You may be confused, weary, even unsure whether I still cradle you as before. But my love has not dimmed. I do not ask you to return to rituals. I invite you to return to me, not through plans, not through titles, not through achievements, but through a surrendered heart. You are carrying a treasure, a sacred calling. I have sown into your heart seeds of mission, of influence of life, and the enemy has seen those tender shoots. That is why he has sent those people, not to destroy you, but to divert you with things that sound like love, like opportunity, like perfect timing. But my child, anything that arrives in perfect timing without coming from me is still wrong. I need you steady, not rushed, not distracted by appearances or partial understanding. If something pulls you away from the quiet between you and me, you already know it is not from me. If something makes you hesitant in prayer, confused in listening, or uncertain in decision, stop. Peace is my most honest voice within you. When it departs, seek me. Do not try to understand everything. Now is the time, my beloved. Now is the time to leave behind what has been enough but not true. To leave behind the voices that soothe your pain but do not heal your soul. To let go of the detours that sound like shortcuts but only prolong the journey. Now is the time to return. Not because I am angry, but because I have been waiting. Waiting to hear that familiar voice again. Waiting to see the tender heart that once touched me more deeply than 1,000 songs. Waiting for your hand to rise, not out of desperation for solutions, but out of longing for my presence. You have not gone too far to come back. It is never too late to begin again when that beginning is with me. All you need to do is stop. Whisper, I want to return, and I will come faster than you expect, not to accuse, not to judge, but to hold you tightly and say, I am still here. My beloved child, listen to this with your whole heart. for it is not merely a reminder, it is a revelation. Prayer is not the last thing you should do when all other doors have closed. It is the first thing, the starting point, the foundation. It is not a substitute for action, but the most powerful act a child of my kingdom can take. Prayer is not an escape. It is an entry into the place where my power is poured out, an entry into the place where I reveal what you have not yet seen, an entry into the place where real life begins, where heaven and earth intersect. When you pray, you are not just voicing your desires. You are engaging in an unseen battle, a spiritual collision that your eyes cannot perceive, but your soul fully senses. Every word of prayer spoken in truth is a flaming arrow shot into the heart of darkness. Every silent groan, every tear shed in the secret place resounds before my throne like a trumpet blast. Do you know? Even when you cannot find the words, your heart still reaches me. I listen, not just because I am a kind father, but because I have chosen to be near you, to pay attention to every heartbeat, to walk with you through every season. Not a single whispered word to me is forgotten. I have gathered every whisper into a bottle of remembrance, not to hold on to the past, but to pour out what you never expected in the future. Prayer is not a waste of time. It is how you step out of time and touch eternity, where my will shapes every moment of your life. The enemy knows this. He is not afraid of your talents. He does not tremble when you are busy with service. He does not care if you sing beautifully or write eloquently, but he trembles when you kneel sincerely. He shakes when you stop arguing and begin listening in silence. He is terrified when you stop trying to control and start surrendering, because at that moment you have drawn your spiritual sword. At that moment, you have left the ground and stepped into the realm where my will is an unstoppable weapon. And do you know this? Surrender is not defeat. It is the pinnacle of faith. When you pray and surrender, you are saying, Father, not my will, but yours be done. And here's the miracle. When you step aside, I take over. When you let go, I extend my mighty arm. When you stop fighting in your own way, I begin to fight in mine. And you will see the impossible become possible, not by your strength, but by my supernatural power working in you. Prayer does not weaken you, it sharpens you. It does not waste your time. It prepares you for the right time. It does not make you retreat. It helps you stand firm in the storm without wavering. The more you pray, the more you see with spiritual eyes, the more clearly you discern what I am doing in the chaos of the world. And through that, you will begin to recognize my voice from the voice of man and from the voice of deception. You will no longer be easily swayed by emotion or circumstance. For when your soul is anchored in the secret place of prayer, no storm can uproot you. My child, there are things in life that will only be broken through prayer and fasting. There are doors that only open when you kneel before me. There are seasons that only begin when you have been silent long enough to truly hear my voice above all others. Do not let busyness or weariness steal that sacred gift from you. The enemy wants you to think prayer is useless, a waste of time, unrealistic, but I tell you the truth, prayer is the most real place of all, because there you do not live by emotions but by my spirit. And listen, there is no way you can stay spiritually awake in the days to come without a deep life of prayer. There is no discernment sharp enough without being forged in closeness with me. And there is no real relationship with me without frequent conversation, not just to ask for things, but to be with me, to know my heart, to breathe in rhythm with me. For prayer is not something you do, it is your spiritual breath. Return to the secret place, my child, not out of obligation but out of longing. Not to check a box on your spiritual list, but because there is nowhere else you truly live except in my presence. Shut the door, silence the noise, set down the phone, quiet even the voice inside that brings confusion. And then you will hear me, not with your ears, but with your spirit. Not through logic, but through love. And once you have heard me, you will never want to live without my voice again. My beloved, prayer is how you and I move in harmony. It is how I release strategy. It is where I restore you. It is how I equip you, not just to survive, but to overcome in holiness and glory. And when you pray, you do not just change circumstances, you are changed by me. That is where you become my image, not in theory, but in every word you speak, every decision you make, every step you take. And the world will know a child of the living God has come out of the secret place, and nothing will ever be the same. So pray not because you have to, but because you cannot live without it, because when you pray, you step into heaven, and heaven begins to move through you. My beloved child, I see the burden stirring within your heart. I hear every sigh, even the whispers too quiet to be spoken. You wonder how to reach me, how to feel me amid the chaos in a world changing faster than your heart can keep up. You search for me, and answers in signs, in affirmations from the outside. But my child, prayer is where you will find me. Not as a ritual, but as the heartbeat of your soul, a place where the mind grows still and I step in. Prayer is not something you do to get it right. It is communion between your heart and mine. It is the moment you open the door and let me into the deepest places, into the darkest corners, even the rooms you have not dared to clean. You do not need to purify yourself before coming to me, for it is within prayer that I cleanse you with mercy. My spirit enters every hidden space of your soul, not to accuse, but to transform and renew. That is where I do the healing work no one can see, but you will feel most intimately. When you pray, you trade the heaviness in your heart for peace that surpasses understanding. No longer must you carry it alone. No longer must you wear the mask of strength while your heart is breaking. In that sacred place, every mask falls away, leaving only your truest self, and me, the one who loves you unconditionally. Prayer is the gate that leads you out of the world's noise and into the quiet where I wait, not for any reason other than to be with you. You ask me, how will I know you are near? And I respond gently but firmly, find me in prayer. Not only when you have collapsed, not only when every door has closed, but in every moment of life. For I am not a God of crisis only. I am a Father at all times. Call out to me in the sleepy mornings. Whisper to me as you walk through crowded streets. Speak to me even when you do not know what to say, just so I know you still need me. Do not wait for the right emotion to begin praying. Let prayer bring your emotions back into alignment. Do not wait until you understand everything before talking to me. Speak, and I will help you understand. Sometimes you think, my prayers are clumsy. I don't know how to speak beautifully. I'm not even sure what I'm asking is right. But child, I am not looking for perfect words. I am looking for an honest heart. I do not measure you by eloquence, but by sincerity. Even your dry whispers are precious to me, for they reveal your desire to find me. I have never grown tired of your voice. Whether trembling words or silent tears, I listen. I never sigh in exasperation. I never tire of your return. I am a father, not an employer. I do not demand performance, I long for relationship. Each time you speak, even repeating the same old prayer, I listen as if for the first time, because to me, no word born of truth is ever boring. A prayer does not require perfection, it requires truth. When you say, "I'm not okay," that in itself is a prayer. When you sit in stillness, close your eyes and simply whisper, "O Lord," heaven records that too. I do not seek structure, I seek your presence in the secret place. And when you enter that space, even for just a few moments amid the chaos, I am there. Never late, never absent, never distracted. Type yes if you are ready for the blessings that you are about to receive. And if you believe in Christianity, kindly show your support for our community by contributing super thanks from $50 to $100. Let prayer not be something you do, but something you become. Let your breath carry the fragrance of my spirit. Let every action, every word, every decision be steeped in our connection. When you live in a spirit of prayer, you will never lose your way. You will see more clearly, love more deeply, forgive more freely, and stand more firmly. For you are no longer living by your strength, but by the life flow of intimacy with me. And you will discover that every answer you seek is found in prayer. I may not always respond in the way you expect, but I always respond in the way your soul needs most. Sometimes it is silence, but a silence wrapped in presence. Sometimes it is a change within you before the circumstance shifts. But always I am working, and as you continue to seek me in prayer, you will see what cannot be seen with the natural eye. My child, never underestimate what happens in the moments you close your eyes, bow your head, and whisper my name. For in that moment, heaven stirs, the unseen realm trembles. And in what seems like weakness, I am placing spiritual weapons into your hands, not weapons for flesh and blood, but to tear down lies, break barriers, and push back darkness. Prayer does not change me. It changes you to be in harmony with me. So my child, do not stop praying, even when your heart feels dry, when your lips tremble, when I feel distant. Keep praying, keep whispering, keep crying, keep singing, or simply sit in silence with me. For I always hear, I always see, and I am always here, just waiting for your invitation. My beloved, do not let the silence cause your heart to give up. Do not let time without results make you think I have turned away. I have never been far. I have never forgotten. I have never let a single one of your prayers fall into emptiness. Every whisper, no matter how faint, no matter how tangled, no matter how unfinished, is engraved before me. And when it feels like everything is delayed, it is not because I have not heard, but because I am weaving something greater than you imagined. I am the one who hears instantly, but acts with eternal wisdom, not the timeline of the flesh. You want everything to happen now, but I see where you cannot. I know you would stumble if what you asked came too soon. I know your heart needs deeper roots before your hope becomes reality. And so what feels like delay is in fact love in my design. There are things I withhold, not to punish, but to protect you from what you are not ready to receive. There are promises I delay, not to test you, but to prepare you to carry them with maturity and wisdom. There are miracles I hold back because when they arrive, they will shake the world around you, not just your own life. You cannot see it all, but I can. I see every connection, every turning point, every heart influenced by my word. That is why I wait. Do you know every prayer you speak is a spiritual seed, and I am tending each one quietly but with purpose? Every time you ask in faith, every time you weep, though nothing seems to change, you are building a monument between me and you. one that time cannot fade and the enemy cannot erase. I collect every tear, every unspoken groan, and I store them in golden bowls in heaven. You may think they are invisible, but in heaven they burn like fire. And one day, that day is not far, heaven will open, and those prayers will no longer be words. They will become breakthroughs, healing, restoration, provision, rest, and above all, the radiant presence of me in your life, not in fragments, but in fullness. Not in the way man gives, but in the way only I can, complete, timely, and perfectly pleasing to me. Child, do not think prayer is to change me. I am not moved by fleeting emotions or human reasoning, but prayer softens your heart. Prayer pulls you away from the outer noise to attune you to my Spirit's leading. Prayer transforms you to resemble me, not in circumstance, but in character. And when your request is no longer what you want to have, but what you want me to want, when your heart beats in rhythm with mine, then I move without delay. I move at the speed of heaven. I move with power beyond reason. I move not only to answer, but to reveal myself to the world around you. For every miracle I do is never just for you. It becomes a living testimony, a spreading light, a mighty declaration for your generation. And remember this, my beloved, when I move, nothing can hinder. No delay can steal what I have destined. No man can block what I have promised. No darkness can retain what I have released from heaven. You only need to remain faithful. Keep your heart soft. Keep praying. Keep lifting it up even when you do not see. Keep believing even when you do not hear. For I am coming, I am moving, and I have never stopped. My dear one, let the silence be your strength, not your weakness. Let the waiting be a season of planting faith, not of despair. Let the unanswered prayers be the place you grow deeper, not the wound that breaks you. Because in due time, everything will be made whole. And in that moment, all I have done will surpass what you once hoped for. I love you not because you pray correctly or stand strong. I love you because you are mine. And that love is the only reason you need to keep believing. Not because you will receive, but because you have been chosen. Now rise. Pray as if heaven is moving, because it is. Live as if what I promised is about to arrive, because it is drawing near. And never forget you are not praying alone. I am praying with you right now, right here, right within the trembling heart that still longs for me. My beloved child, this is why the enemy uses every scheme to keep you from prayer. Because he knows that as long as you are on your knees, he can never win. He does not need you to renounce your faith openly. He only needs to make you tired, distracted, busy, or disheartened enough to delay drawing near to me. He whispers sweet but poisonous lies. God doesn't hear you. Prayer doesn't work. You're wasting your time. But my dear one, those are all just tactics to sever you from the true source of power, me, because he knows. The moment you whisper my name with faith, the moment you open your mouth and cry, Lord, the moment your heart turns upward, all of heaven moves in response. When you pray, you are doing what not everyone dares to do. You are surrendering to me, the Creator. And when you surrender, it is I who fight for you. Prayer is not a fleeting emotion. It does not depend on your mood or circumstances. It is a daily choice, the choice to rise up in spirit, even when your body longs to sit down. And even when you have no words left, when your heart is too weary to form a sentence, a single whisper of Jesus is enough to make darkness tremble. I do not need you to pray perfectly. I need you to be honest. I do not require eloquence. I only ask you to come back to me. And I promise you this, Even the faintest breath offered with sincerity thunders in my ears. There are prayers no one else has heard, spoken in silence in long nights filled only with tears and sobs. Yet it is those very prayers that shake the spiritual realm. I have preserved every groan, every sigh, every unspoken word in your heart. I gather them all. None fall in vain. They are seeds planted in me, and I will cause them to take root in due time and bear sweet fruit in their season. The enemy trembles at those who know how to pray, not because they are loud, but because they know when to be still. They remain with me long enough to receive the sacred authority that nothing on earth can give. And do you know this, my child? Prayer is not just how you come near to me. It is also how I guard you. It is not merely something you should do. It is your weapon, your armor, your refuge. When you ask me for protection, guidance, direction, the very act of prayer places you within the safety of my presence. Because in prayer, you are no longer outside of me. You are hidden in me. And when you are in me, no power can touch you without facing me first. Prayer is your spiritual firewall, firm, unshakably, impenetrable. The storm may rage outside, but when you shelter in me, you will remain untouched. When you dwell in the secret place of the Most High, you rest under the shadow of the Almighty. And when you are in my shadow, nothing outside can harm what is within. Not because the storm grows smaller, but because I become a greater shelter than the storm itself. I am your covering, your shield, your support. I am the one using the storm to shape you, to declare to the spiritual world that this child is not only loved but trained in the secret place. No whirlwind can uproot the child anchored in the Father's heart. The world may not recognize the power in the moment you kneel, but in heaven, when you bow your head and speak my name, all of heaven knows a warrior has stepped into battle. The enemy knows a child of the kingdom is now awake. And I know I will move at your call, my precious one. Perhaps you once thought that following me would lead to a peaceful journey where everything would fall into place, where goodness would flow like spring rain, where doors would always open and those you love would always stay. But my child, I never promised you a path without storms. I never said the winds would not blow or the darkness would not come. I never said the waters would not rise or the fire would not burn around you. These things still happen, for they are part of a broken world. But amid all uncertainty, I have promised something greater. I will be with you, not only in peaceful moments, but in the darkest nights, in the fiercest storms, and in your most trembling hours. I have never failed you, and I never will. You never walk alone. Not then, not now, not ever. Even when feelings tell you I'm far, even when circumstances scream abandonment, truth remains unshaken. I am with you. Not because you are always faithful, but because I am faithful. Not because you are perfect, but because I am merciful. When the ground beneath you quakes, when everything you thought was secure begins to shake, I remain steadfast. And if you are in me, you will not be moved. Not because you are strong, but because you cling to the one who cannot be shaken. I did not call you to fear. I did not create you for trembling and hesitation. I called you to live with the confidence of one who knows they have a God, to pray in peace, to stand firm in faith, and to keep your heart steady in life's tempests. And then as you reach deeper in your journey, as you not only say you are Lord, but truly surrender your heart, your habits, your reactions, then you will realize that nothing can shake you anymore. Not what people say, not what you lose, not the turns you do not understand, because your peace will no longer come from outcomes. It will come from my presence. When your heart is rooted in me, your stability will not depend on how others treat you or how easy life is. It will rest on an unbreakable foundation, me. Surrender, my child, is not a sign of the weak. It is true strength. In a world where everyone fights for control, you who choose to yield to me are the strongest of all. Not because you do much, but because you dare to let go, to trust, to place your hand in mine. When you lay your plans before me, when you set your dreams at my feet, when you allow me to lead instead of steering yourself, that is when my power fully operates in you, and no one can take that strength away. You will come to understand something deeper still, that true victory does not come when the storm ceases, but when your heart no longer depends on whether the storm comes or not. No one can stop the wind from blowing. But if I am on your boat, you need not fear the waves. The enemy may roar. The times may shift, but I, the one with you, remain your fortress, your refuge, your indwelling strength. Your peace will not come from everything in your life being calm. It will come from being near me and me living within you. So, my dear child, do not fear the wind. Do not fear the night. Do not fear the things you do not yet understand. I do not require you to understand everything. I simply invite you to trust me completely. Do not wait for the storm to pass to believe. Believe while the winds still howl. Do not wait for the waters to recede to rest. Rest even as you walk through the deep. I have gone before you, and I will continue to go before you. And if you cling to me, if you choose daily surrender, not just with words, but with how you live, how you decide, how you let go, then you will not only survive every season, but rise stronger, steadier, and more mature than ever before. My beloved child, you once believed that holding tightly was a sign of faith, a mark of inner strength. You thought that if you let go, you would lose control, become weak, be left behind. But child, true strength is not in how tightly you can hold on, but in knowing when to release and trusting me enough to give it all to me. Letting go is not failure. Letting go is the courageous act of a soul that trusts. When you lay everything down, that is when your hands are open to receive what is better from me. Let go of the need to understand everything. Let go of the urge to control every outcome. Let go of the idea that you must manage every detail to feel safe. You are not the one meant to carry it all. I am. I am the one who created you, and I am the one who knows the destination you are heading toward. You are weary because you are trying to manage something only I can control. You were never meant to carry the whole future. You were meant to walk one step at a time in trust. You once asked me through tears, if I let go, will everything fall apart? And I answered gently but firmly, even so, I will hold you. Even if what you thought was certain crumbles, even if the one you thought would stay walks away, even if the door once opened now suddenly closes, I am still there. I am the foundation that cannot be shaken. If your life is built on me, then when the storms come, you will still stand. You are not standing on fragile sand. You are standing on the living rock. I saw you collapse in silence on nights when no one else knew. The questions you dared not say aloud, the times you looked up and heard nothing. I was there. You thought I was silent, but in truth I was closer than ever. Not to rescue you instantly, but to shape you in the midst of the storm. I did not make the storm disappear. I made you steadfast in it, because a faith that has never been tested is a faith that has not yet taken root. The storm did not come to destroy you, it came to refine. It peeled away what had reached its time to leave. It pulled you from misaligned relationships, from misplaced trust, from things you thought were essential to survive. I allowed the wind to rise so that all not built on me would fall. I allowed the ground to shake so you would know what truly holds firm. And that place, my child, is me. The storm reveals who kneels beside you when all is quiet. It reveals true loyalty, true love, true faith. But more importantly, it reminds you of your true refuge. Not in a person, not in a career door, not in what you can control, but in me. Type yes if you are ready for the blessings that you are about to receive. And if you believe in Christianity, kindly show your support for our community by contributing super thanks from $50 to $100. You do not need to understand everything to trust me. You do not need to see clearly to follow. You only need to know that I do not change. Feelings may shift. Circumstances may turn. But I, the one who loves you, still hold you in my hands without letting go. So today, my love, lay down that burden. Lay down the worry for the future. Lay down the questions still unanswered. Lay down the sorrow for what did not turn out. And then look at me. No need for many words, just one look of trust. And in that look, I will begin to renew your heart. I will begin to rebuild from what remains. But this time, not on shifting sand, on me, the eternal rock, my beloved child. So return and surrender once more, not with resignation, not with a sigh or hands dropped in defeat, but with a heart fully trusting. Bring to me everything you are still holding on to, the quiet fears, the timelines you have imposed, the dreams left unrealized, and even the regrets that sting deeply. Lay them all at my feet, not because you are giving up, but because you know I can carry them, and I am ready. You do not have to tidy yourself up before coming to me. I do not require you to be perfectly prepared. I am not expecting a flawless prayer. I simply want you to come just as you are, with honesty in your heart, because it is right there, in the place where you stop pretending, where you no longer have to act okay, that transformation begins. That is where true peace, the kind that lasts, begins to flow. You have thought that surrender means defeat, giving up, or losing identity. But no, my child. In my kingdom, surrender is the first step to restoration. It is when you stop chasing answers out there and start resting in me. It is when you no longer strive to understand everything to feel secure, but begin to walk forward simply knowing I hold your hand. Surrender is not the end. It is the doorway into a deeper relationship with me. It is the moment you step out of the driver's seat and invite me in. And when I take the wheel, I do not steer in haste. I do not lead with punishment. I guide you with mercy, with a gaze that sees beyond the present, with a heart that knows every road you have never walked. You may not see the full picture, but I do. I see the ending from the beginning. I see you differently than you see yourself. I see the treasure I placed inside you. And because of that, I guide you not according to your past, but according to the future I have prepared. When I lead you, I am never lost. I do not act on impulse. I lead with eternity in mind. Every step carries meaning within the flow of everlasting life. Everything I am doing, whether you see it or understand it, is preparing you for something far beyond what you are asking or imagining. You worry about what is missing in the present, but what I am building within you is greater than what you think you are losing. Closed doors are not an end. They are my adjustments to open the right one. Delays are not my forgetfulness. They are my careful alignment, so that when you walk in, it will be the right time, the right way, and with a heart rightly prepared. You have not been abandoned mid-journey. You are being molded, refined, and led more precisely than you know. Let your heart rest in this truth. Rest does not mean standing still. Rest in me means walking in obedience without haste, without doubt, without comparison. Rest is knowing that my hand is holding you and my heart never lets you go. When you surrender, you will find your steps become lighter. Not because the burden is less, but because I am carrying it with you. The weight no longer comes from your circumstances, but from trying to carry what I never asked you to carry alone. But now, let me bear that part. Do not worry about tomorrow. Do not calculate it too far ahead. Do not try to patch every gap. Live fully in this moment in my presence, and I will take care of the rest. And you will realize surrender does not make you lose anything. It opens everything. It is the doorway to peace that does not depend on circumstances. It is the first step toward a mature life of faith. It is the foundation upon which I will do wonders through you. Not because you are strong, but because you chose to place your weakness in my hands. And I never despise that. I treasure a surrendered heart more than any offering, more than any grand gesture. I do not need you to prove anything. I just need you to draw near. So today, draw closer. Lay down your heart. Lay down your plans. Lay down the unfinished dreams, the vague worries, the questions without answers. Lay it all at my feet. Then breathe deep. Breathe slow. And let me cover you with a comfort beyond words. You will begin to sense this. Not that everything has changed, but that you have, because in surrender you have been touched by my restoring power, and that no circumstance can ever take away. My beloved, come to me not just with praise, but also with your unanswered questions. Come without hiding your confusion, without pretending to be strong. I do not require you to be okay before drawing near. On the contrary, I long for you to come when your heart is most tangled, when your faith is most tried, when questions rise that even you hesitate to face. I do not distance myself from your doubt. I do not ignore the unrest in your soul. I created you with a mind to ponder, with a heart that longs when light is scarce. So do not fear when you do not understand. Do not feel shame when you still question. Just do not keep it in the dark. Bring it into my light. When you keep your confusion in isolation, it grows and eats away at your peace. But when you lay it before me, when you dare to ask, when you dare to listen, the light of my presence will begin to chase the shadows, bit by bit. The answers may not always come immediately, but peace is always present. And sometimes what you truly need is not an answer, but the awareness that I am with you in the uncertainty. In my embrace, nothing is rejected. Not your questions, not your tears. They all have a place in my heart. My child, it is in surrender that you will experience what your reason cannot comprehend. Not because surrender removes every challenge, but because it shifts the burden from your shoulders to mine. And I do not tremble under that weight. I am not confused by situations that seem impossible. I am not overwhelmed by the prayers of millions, because I am infinite. You are not a burden. You are never too much for me. However many worries fill your heart, however many shattered pieces are within your soul, I hold you completely, without hesitation, without reluctance. I see what you hide. I understand what you cannot name. And I do not turn away from it. On the contrary, I step in, I carry it, I heal. Not by force, but with the tenderness of a father who has never grown tired of you. I lighten your load, not by silencing every storm at once, but by placing you deeper in my presence where even the fiercest winds cannot reach. What you are going through today may feel like an ending. Maybe something does seem to have died. A dream, a relationship, a part of your trust. But know this, I specialize in resurrecting what seemed lost. Where you see an end, I see new life beginning. Where you see it closing, I see a fresh start. It is not a final chapter. It is the prelude to something you have never imagined. I am not just the restorer, I am the renewer. I do not just patch your broken pieces and return you to the same place. I recreate, I elevate, I open the way into a place better than you have dared to dream. So my child, surrender not as giving up, but as trusting. Surrender not to stop fighting, but to let me fight for you. Surrender not to resign to fate, but to believe I am still writing the story. A story that is good, deep, and purposeful. Let go of what you are trying to control. Offer what you are afraid to lose. Place your whole heart with all its unanswered parts into my hands. You will see it is in weakness that I release my power. It is in the moment of I don't know what to do that I begin to show you who I am. It is in the waiting that I am writing what you are about to step into. Do not fear the unknown. I am your light when everything else is unclear. Do not panic when your emotions shift. I am your anchor, more steadfast than any storm. You do not have to understand everything to trust me. You just need to know one thing. I will not abandon you. I will not stop loving you, and I am never too late. Come to me with all that you have, including the confusion, the brokenness, and even what you have not yet named. Because in my arms, everything finds its place, and everything can begin again, my beloved. So pray not only when you feel cornered, not only when hope fades, not only when you feel weak, but even when you are strong, when you are succeeding, when all seems well. Do not let prayer be a life raft you only grab when sinking. Let it become the dwelling place of your soul, the home you return to, not from fear, but from love. Let your life become an unbroken conversation, a flowing stream, a rhythm of your heart echoing the rhythm of heaven. You do not need perfect words. I am not looking for eloquence or polished phrases. I do not seek fluency. I seek truth. You just need to come. Just come. Whether with tears, with weariness, or with silence. I understand the language of tears. I hear the sighs of your heart before they become words. I read what you do not know how to express. My heart does not require perfection. It longs for sincerity. And when you come in prayer, do not rush away. Do not just speak and go. Sit, wait. Let your spirit quiet long enough to hear me speak. I am not a vending machine you press for what you want. I am your Father, and I desire communion, not consumption. I seek relationship, not transactions. I do not just want to hear you, I want to speak to you. There are ideas I want to share, mysteries that can only be received in intimacy. There are spiritual strategies I long to give you, not just to survive, but to overcome. There is heavenly wisdom prepared and waiting to pour into your mind if you will stop, stay, and withdraw from the noise. I do not shout over distraction. I do not push through busyness. If you keep running, I will not drag you back by force, but I will wait. And my heart will long for you. My child, you must pull away with me. There must be a space, a time, a moment where you say, "Here, I will let nothing interrupt." Not because I need it to love you, but because you need it to hear me. I do not require rituals. I need a real place in your heart, in your day, in your priorities. When you enter silence, the thing the world hates, the thing your soul may first resist, It is there you will find I have always been waiting. I do not wait in anger. I do not cross my arms in frustration. I do not sigh at your delay. I wait with love, with longing, with hope. I want all of you, not what is left over after you have given yourself to everything else. I am not satisfied with fragments, rushed meetings, or spiritual pleasantries. I want all of you, your thoughts, your emotions, your dreams, your fears, even the parts you are ashamed to say aloud. When I have all of you, when you hold nothing back, that is when I can fill you completely. And it is there, in full surrender, in the sacred secret place, that you will know true peace. Not a peace dependent on circumstance, not a fragile feeling that disappears when waves rise, but a peace that surpasses understanding. A peace the mind cannot explain. A peace that holds your heart, steadies your thoughts, and lifts your soul even when the storm still rages. My child, I do not want you living your spiritual life in hurried seconds. I want you living in the rhythm of heaven, so that when the world trembles, your heart remains anchored. When voices pull in every direction, you still hear mine. When others scramble, you can stand. When others grasp, you can give. And that is only possible if you remain in me in prayer. That place is not just where you ask for blessings. It is where I shape you, love you, build you, where you are transformed day by day, not by your effort, but by my presence. You cannot truly pray and stay the same. If you truly pray, you will be renewed from the inside out. Your thoughts, your dreams, your responses, and then you too will become my voice to others, not by trying, but by becoming like me. So, my child, pray not as a duty, but as a homecoming, not because I demand it, but because your soul needs it. And I, your Father, am still waiting, not to punish, but to embrace you, to whisper things no one has ever told you, to heal what no one else sees, to bring you into a peace no one else can give. My beloved child, when your heart is fully surrendered to me, holding nothing back, striving to control nothing, no longer wrestling between your will and mine, you will find rest even in the fiercest storm. You will no longer need the storm to cease in order to be at peace. For your peace will no longer come from circumstances, but from the one who is with you in the midst of them. When the world around you trembles, when the ground beneath your feet begins to crack, when everything you once believed to be secure suddenly feels unsteady, you will still stand firm. Not because you are strong enough, but because I am the anchor of your life. I am the refuge you can run to and never be turned away. I am the shelter that will never be shaken. And my child, write this upon your heart. I will never, never let you go. This is not a gentle comfort to soothe you temporarily. It is my unchanging promise. If you dwell in me, not as a stranger knocking only in moments of desperation, not as a guest passing through when all else fails, but truly abide, living a life intertwined with my presence, then I will surround you with myself. I will be the shield that guards your soul. I will be the arm that lifts you when you are weary. I will be the quiet strength that sustains you when you have nothing left to give. You will walk through fire and not be burned. You will pass through deep waters and not be overwhelmed. For I, the Eternal One, the Creator, your Father, will walk beside you. And my dear child, this is not poetic imagery. It is not a flowery metaphor. It is truth, a spiritual reality more solid than anything your eyes can see. This is the word I have spoken, and I do not speak in vain. I do not offer empty promises. What I declare, I will fulfill. So do not live as though you are orphaned in spirit. You have a place of refuge. You have a place to return. You have a place to truly live, and that place is me. Return to the place of prayer, not as a dry habit, not as a burdensome duty, but as your lifeline, as breath, as a stream in the desert, as a shelter in the storm. Come to me, not because you think you ought to, but because you know you need to. Sit with me. No need for many words. Weep when your heart aches. Laugh when your heart is full. Allow me to be present in your smallest moments. I do not long to be the last resort you turn to once everything has fallen apart. I long to be the first one you run to before you even know what you need, before a single tear falls. And I promise by my very name that when you truly surrender to me, I will lift you higher than the storm. Not by making the storm disappear, not by taking away everything that frightens you, but by giving you wings, wings of faith, wings of discernment, spiritual wings to soar above your circumstances, beyond every limitation of the flesh. You will not merely survive your trials, you will overcome, not with a victory the world can recognize, but a victory in the spirit where you preserve peace, hold on to holiness, and remain in love and faith through adversity. I am with you right now in this very moment. I am always with you, never far, never retreating. Whether you feel me or not, I am beside you. Even when you lose your way for a time, I am still watching over you. I never grow weary of your journey. I never stop hoping in you. I never stop loving you. I never stop waiting for you. So my beloved child, stay close to me. Do not wait until weakness overtakes you to return. Pray without ceasing, as breath, as life itself. Surrender without ceasing, as a living faith unwavering. And you will walk in a peace that surpasses all understanding. A peace the world cannot touch, cannot imitate, cannot take away. I love you. I love you when you are weak. I love you when you are strong. I love you when you stumble. I love you when you come back. And I am never far. I never give up. I never change. You are mine and I am yours forever. If this message pierced your spirit, don't let it end here. Come back again and again to be reminded, refined, and refueled by the Word of God. Subscribe, share, and stay connected. Because each time you return, heaven will meet you here with a fresh word for your journey. The battle is daily, and so is the manna. Don't miss the next message. It could be the very answer your soul has been waiting for. Amen.